Good morning. I'm Dr.P.KAVITHA, Assistant Professor of Economics, A.D.M. College for Women, Autonomous, Nagapattinam. Today, my topic, Economic Development. Meaning, economic development is the growth of the standard of living of a nation, people from low income, that is poor economy, to high income, rich economy. When the local quality of life improved, there is more economic development. When social scientists study the economic development, they look at a lot of things. Economic development means that the rate of production must be faster than the rate of increase in population. The meaning of economic development. People better off by increasing their command over goods and services and by increasing the choice open them. Economic development as the rate of production is greater than the rate of increase in product population and the rate of growth of GDP is high enough to fulfill the basic needs of population, and policies or activities that seeks to improve the economic well-being and quality of life for a community. And what is economic growth? The economic growth means increase in the size of the country's economy over a period of time. The size of the economy is typically measured to the total production of goods and services in the economy, which is called GDP, that is gross domestic product. And the two main sources of economic growth, the growth in the size of the workforce and the growth in the productivity, that is the output per hour worked of that workforce, and the increase in the overall size of the economy, but only strong productivity growth can increase per capita GDP and the income. Economic growth versus economic development. The economic growth primarily focus on quantitative changes such as increase in production, consumption, and income level. Economic development means both quantitative and qualitative aspects, including factors like education, healthcare, infrastructure, and environmental sustainability. Next, difference between economic growth and the economic development. Now, economic growth. Economic growth is a positive quantitative changes in a country, actual output per capita income. Now, economic development refers to improvement in the quality of life and the standard of living. Economic growth is quantitative and economic development is qualitative. Then economic growth is like GDP, GNP, FDI, and FFI, etc. The growth and development, the better human development index, human poverty index, and gender development index, balance of trade, physical quality of life index, etc. Economic growth is short-term measures and economic development is long-term one. Economic growth is developed nation, economic development is developing nation. Economic growth is no government support or inventions is required since it is an automatic process. High dependent on government aid since it includes widespread policy changes in economic development. The economic growth does not refers to fair and equal distribution of wealth among the people. And economic development focus on the equal distribution of wealth among the people and uplift to less privileged. Then economic growth is the production of goods and services. Economic development is distribution of resources. And the factors of influencing economic development. Number one, capital accumulation. Number two, institutional development, and opens to global market. Capital accumulation means the physical capital, that is the investment, infrastructure, machinery, and human capital, education, skill is a crucial for driving productivity, innovations, and economic growth. Now, institutional development. The effective institutions include stable legal system, efficient property rights, and strong governance to create a predictable and transparent business environment and encouraging investment and growth. Opens to global market, engaging in international trade and investment, provide access to new market, capital, and technologies, promoting economic development and competitiveness. Then technological advancement. The innovation and the of new technologies are critical for increasing productivity and the efficiency of creating new products and services, driving the economic growth. Then sustainable practices. Environmental sustainability into economic development ensure long-term economic viability and protect the environment for future generations. Then measures of economic development. Here, economic indicators. The traditional indicators like GDP per capita, unemployment rates, poverty rates, literacy rates, and life expectancy help assess to economic progress and well-being. Second one is Human Development Index, that is HDI. This measures of income, health, and education, providing a broader picture of a human development and well-being. Next, subjective well-being survey. Measures and happiness, life satisfaction are increasingly used to capture individual subjective experience and living standards with an economy complementing traditional economic indicators. Third one, inequality matrix. The inequality matrix to assess the distribution of income and wealth within the economy, to indicating the level of income inequality and its potential impact on the development. And now characteristics of underdevelopment. Characteristics of underdeveloped economy are low per capita income, economic inequalities, the slow growth rate of per capita, low productivity, labor and lower level of living, and low level of techniques of production, low rate of capital formation, lack of resources, utilization, and similar things. Now, less developed countries of inadequate technology and capital, low saving rate, dual economy, varying dependence on international trade, rapid population growth, low literacy and school enrollment rates, unskilled labor force, poorly developed institutions. That is the characteristics of less developed countries. And low level of income. Underdeveloped countries are maintaining a very low level of income in comparison to the developed countries. The per capita income of these group of countries are extremely low if we compare it with that of developed countries. Moreover, inequality in the distribution of income along with this low level of income and the situation of this economics to a distress level. And the poverty, the mass poverty, existence of chronic mass poverty is another characteristics of underdeveloped economy. The problem of poverty arises not due to any temporary economic maladjustment, but arise mainly due to existence of the method of production and social institutions. The degree of poverty and economy gradually increases due to increase in the size of population, growing inequality in income and increasing price level. Nearly 76.8% of the world population are living those underdeveloped or developing countries of the world, enjoying only 15.6% of the total world GNP. And the majority of the population are living below the poverty line. Third one, lack of capital formation. Developing or underdeveloped countries of the world are suffering from a poor rate of capital formation, as well as the level of per capita income as in these countries is very low, thus their volume and rate of saving are also very poor. The lack of capital formation, and which is again responsible for low rate of investment, and in these countries, for example, the rate of investment in countries like India and Pakistan is lower than even 10%, but the other hand, the same rate is ranging between 15 to 13% in developed countries like USA, Canada, etc. The poor rate of capital formation is one of the major obstacles towards the path of development of these underdeveloped countries of the world. Now, heavy population pressure. The underdeveloped countries are also characterized by heavy population pressure. The natural growth rate of population in these countries is very high due to prevailing high birth rate and falling death rate. The excessive population pressure has been creating the problem of low standard of living and a reduction in the average size of the holding. And the lower rate of capital formation in these countries, the population in these countries is increasing by 2 to 3% per annum, which has created various problems like scarcity of agricultural land, small size of holding, problem of unemployment, food crisis, and poverty, etc. Now, agricultural backwardness. The agricultural backwardness is also suffering from the underdeveloped countries, although being the most important sector. Agriculture sector in these countries remain totally underdeveloped, but what is more peculiar is that these countries are depending too much on the agriculture sector. Nearly 60 to 70% of the total population of these countries is depending on agriculture, and about 30 to 40% of the total GNP of these countries is generated from agricultural population productions. And agricultural productivity in these countries remained still very poor in spite of its great importance. Now, unemployment problem. Unemployment and underemployment problem in these underdeveloped countries, in the absence of growth of alternative occupations, both in the secondary and tertiary sector of these countries, there is increasing number of population and being thrown or land to aid their living from agriculture sector. Increasing dependence on agriculture sector leads to disguised unemployment or underemployment in this economy to a large scale. Moreover, the problem educated unemployment in this economy is also increasing gradually day by day due to lack of industrial development. Now, unexploited natural resources. The rapid pace of economic growth in this underdeveloped countries, the different type of natural resources in sufficient quantity and utilization are very important. And the underdeveloped countries are either suffering from scarcity of raw material or from unexploited natural resources of its own. And the endowment position of these countries, then we can see that some of the underdeveloped countries are having natural resources like land, water, mineral, forests, etc. in sufficient quantity of these resources remain largely underutilized or even untapped due to the various difficulties faced by these countries. Now, shortage of technology and skill. Underdeveloped countries are facing low level of technology and acute shortage of skilled manpower. Poor technology and lower skills are responsible for inefficient and insufficient production, which lead to poverty masses. The pace of economic growth in these countries are very low due to the application of poor technologies. But the application of modern sophisticated technology both in agricultural and the industrial sector is at most needed in these countries. These requires suffering amount of capital, technological advancement and the training. Now, lack of infrastructural development. Lack of infrastructural development is a common features of undeveloped countries. There is transportation, communication, generation and distributions of electricity, credit facilities, social overheads, etc. These countries are very much backward than most of the developed countries, and due to the inadequate infrastructural facilities, the pace of economic development in these countries are very low. There is a lack of industrialization. Underdeveloped countries are characterized by lack of industrial development. The pace of industrialization of these countries is very slow due to lack of capital formation and the supply of machinery and tools, and also due to the lack of initiative and enterprise on the part of the people of these countries. And the potential industrial development, these countries could not develop the industrial sector on a sound footing. And moreover, industrial development that has been achieved by these countries are very much restricted only some limited areas. Now, lack of proper market. Underdeveloped countries are also suffering from lack of properly developed market. Whatever market these countries have developed, these are suffering from number of limitations, lack of market information, lack of diversification, lack of proper relations or connections between the market, lack of adequate demand, etc. Now, mass illiteracy. Underdeveloped countries are mostly characterized by the existence of mass illiteracy. Due to illiteracy, the people in these countries are very much super and conservative, which is again responsible for lack of initiative and enterprise on the part of the people of these countries. Now, poor socio-economic conditions. Underdeveloped countries are also suffering from totally poor socio-economic condition. The path of economic development in these countries is being obstructed by various socio-economic factors like joint family system and universal marriage and costly social customs and the law of inheritance. Now, insufficient administrative setup. Undeveloped countries are also suffering from its insufficient administrative setup. In the absence of efficient and sound administrative setup, these countries are suffering from lack of proper economic organization, lack of investment, and also lack of appropriate decision leading to total management of these economies. Now, economic and the non-economic factors. Now, economic factors. The economic factors are such as capital, infrastructure, raw material, labor and market. Without these economic factors of business cannot grow the earned profit. The non-economic factors are largely influenced by the society and country where the entrepreneur resides. Now, economic factors. Number one, natural resources. The principal factors affecting the development of an economy is the availability of natural resources. The existence of natural resources is abundant and essential for development. A country deficient in natural resources may not be a position to develop rapidly, but a country like Japan lacking natural resources import and achieve the faster rate of economic growth and development with the help of the technology. There is India, which larger resources is poor and capital formation. Capital formation is the main key to the economic growth and development. Capital formation refers to the net addition to the existing stock of capital goods, which are either tangible like plants and machineries or intangible like health, education, and research. There is the capital formation helps to increase in productivity of labor and thereby production of income, and it facilitates adoptions of advanced techniques of production. It leads to better utilization of natural resources, industrialization, and expansion of market, which are essential for economic progress. Now, size of the market. Large size of the market would stimulate the production, increase employment, and rise the national per capita income. There is wide developed countries expand their market to other countries through the WTO, that is World Trade Organizations. Now, structural changes. Structural changes refers to change in the occupational structure of the economy. Any economy of the country is generally divided into three basic sectors. Primary sector, such as agricultural, animal husbandry, forestry, etc. Secondary sector, such as industrial production, construction, and tertiary sector, such as trade, banking, and commerce. Any economy which is predominantly agricultural tends into remain backward. Then financial system. Financial system implies the existence of an efficient and organized banking system in the country. There should be an organized money market to facilitate easy availability of capital. Marketable surplus. Marketable surplus refers to total amount of farm output cultivated by farmers over and above their family consumption needs. This is a surplus that can be sold in the market for earning income. It raises the purchasing power, employment, and output and other sources of the economy. The country as a result will develop because of increase in national income. Now, foreign trade. The country which enjoy favorable balance of trade and the terms of trade is also developed reserve and stable exchange rate. Now, economic system. The economic system adapt to free market mechanism, that is laissez-faire policy, enjoy better growth rate compared to controlled economic. It may be true for some countries but not for our country. Now, non-economic factors. Economic development has much to do with the human endowment, social attitude, political conditions, and historical accident. Capital is a necessity but not a sufficient condition of progress. There is the Ratner Nerk's definitions. Now, human resources. Human resources is named as human capital because of its power to increase productivity and thereby national income. There is a circular relationship between the human development and economic growth. A healthy, educated, and skilled labor force is the most important productivity asset. Human capital formation is the process of increasing knowledge, skill, and productive capacity of the people. It includes expenditure on health, education, and social services. If labor is the efficient and skilled, and its capacity to contribute to the growth will be a high level. For example, Japan and China. And technical know-how, the scientific and technical knowledge advances more and more sophisticated techniques steadily rise the productivity level of all sectors in the economy. Schumpeter attributed the cause for economic development and to innovations, the political freedom. The process of development is linked with the political freedom, and Dadabai Nauroji explained in his classical work Poverty and Un-British Rule in India that the drain of wealth from India under the British rule was the major cause of the increase in poverty in India level. Social organization, people show interest in the development activity only when they feel that the fruits of development will be fairly distributed. Mass participation in development programs is a precondition for accelerating the development process. Whenever the defective social organization allow some groups to appropriate the benefits of growth, majority of the poor people do not participate in the process of development. This is called the crony capitalism. And corruption-free administration. Corruption is a negative factor in the growth process. Unless the countries root out corruptions in their administrative system, the crony capitalists and the traders will continue to exploit the natural resources. The tax evasion tends to the breed corruption and harm economic progress. And desire for economic development. The pace of economic growth in the country depends to a great extent of the people desire for development. In some countries, the level of consciousness is low and general mass of people has accepted poverty as its fate. Then there will be a little scope for development. Now, moral, ethical, and social values. These determine of the efficiency of the market according to the Douglas. See, not if people are not honest, market cannot function. Then capitalism. If people spend larger proportion of their income and the time of entertainment, liquor, and other illegal activities, productive activities may suffer according to the Thomas Piketty. And capitalism is the asset or simply passed on the children from their parents. The children would not work hard because the children do not know value of the asset. Hence, productivity will be low per Thomas Piketty. And obstacles to economic development are now saving gap, inadequate capital accumulations, foreign currency capital and capital flight, corruption, poor governance, impact of civil war, and population misuse. High growth rate of populations, depending on the circumstances, population growth can have a positive or negative effect. One of the most significant challenges facing any nations in the economy and the random increase in population. Obstacles to that good economic growth and development is the increase in the population, and economic resources are frequently insufficient and do not cover the existing population. The large population is regarded as putting a significant strain on the resources and services provided. For instance, investment projects that in turn promote to economic growth may not result in an adequate number of employees. Number two, low level of the human factor. The people, then there are obstacles to economic growth. People leave the country to find work elsewhere in the immigration from other countries to grow. One of the most crucial aspects of any economic plan in the ability to build a human factors, which necessitates to improving all kinds of educational outcomes. One of the most crucial economic components and factors in the human factor, which is in the turn increases project productions, boost economic growth, and shift in the economic cycle. As a result, the state must work all human resources, including university students, institutes, colleges, and other institutions, as well as every items they are recorded for their training. Poor transportation infrastructure. Transportation is regarded as one of the most important factors in economic growth, which is in turn help to activate, develop, and to improve aspect of life by increasing the cost of freight per unit. Poor transportation system hurt and competitiveness of industries and the economy, and to additionally to rises ordering and overhead cost damages to the total inventories and cost incurred in transit. Moving people and goods costless when there is good transportation infrastructure. Productivity in the economy rises as a result, and the inability to come up with creative solutions. In some societies that rely on traditional means of conducting business, this issues manifests itself in a significant and glaring manner. The total reliance that many societies and nations have on oil provides perhaps the most prominent illustrations of this. The cost of oil can reduced by looking for and using alternative methods more diligently, and due to the severe harm it causes of human on all levels. And the developed nations have become from the reduced their use of oil, although some nations continue to use it. The improvement and the growth of nation economic are greatly aided to the novel solutions. Thank you.